All right, welcome in. Hope everyone is having a wonderful day. I know I am. It's the start of the weekend, so that is fantastic. And it's a Lego release day, back to Hogwarts. So I'm super excited about that. We may take a quick little pause. I'll still be on, but I may be a little distracted as I'm checking out the website in about an hour to see if there's any additional sales and deals, which I anticipate there will be. I have on good authority that there'll be some double points, some discounts, maybe even some quadruple points. So we'll have to take a look, and we can look together at what is on sale for Back to Hogwarts. But yeah, tonight we are hopefully finishing the U.S.S. Enterprise, because I got to get this bad boy done, and I want to get it done before the Enterprise bridge comes out. And if you haven't checked out my shopping list video, check that out as well. Kind of go over what PinkBrix is going to be buying. And man, that bridge, they needed a gift with purchase. That price point is a little high, but man, oh day, is it tempting. So still looking at that, but still telling myself we're going to wait on that because the price point just quite isn't there without something else to go along with it. And I just want to make sure my Lego app is open and good to go, so that way when it comes time, I can do a little purchasing of sorts. So we'll see, because I don't want to miss out if there are some screaming good deals. So we'll see. Just bear with me here while I make sure to load that up. Should have done this beforehand. I don't know what I was thinking. That is definitely my bad. So I apologize. Okay. Good to go. Hopefully the sound is dialed in, because man, me and ChatGPT, Google AI, like all the AIs have been working on our volume and everything for the live stream. So hopefully it is on point. Just making sure I got the AC kicked on, so let me turn that down so it's not super noisy, because I know that can be kind of annoying. All right. Yeah, that should be better. It should go off any moment now, so it's not screaming, but the mic is set up in such a way that even if the AC comes on, it shouldn't be that noticeable. Knock on wood. I tried to turn it down, and I swear that our AC on the second floor has a mind of its own. Just kind of does whatever it wants. Guess that's the downside of having multiple AC units. There we go. It's finally behaving, so that's good. But talking about the Star Trek and the Star Trek sets, those tribbles, man, they're calling me. I've realized there are very, very few land members, or whatever they're called now, that are actually Star Trek fans, because like none of them talked anything about the trouble with tribbles. So I guess I'll have to do a video on that. But that will necessitate me purchasing the set. But I've heard that there is supposed to be a set amount of tribbles in the set, but then they may come with 1 or 2 extras. So that's only fitting if you are a Star Trek fan and know the trouble with tribbles. Man, the amount of like different techniques for this set, Enterprise, it's amazing. I'd have to say the build experience thus far has been worth it. Guess my only regret is that I didn't build it sooner. Constantly having to orient myself on what side of the build I'm on. So I just built this panel of the hull, and now it goes on the belly of the ship. And I take it I'm building the other side. So 54 minutes until I probably should have been building a Hogwarts set, but I don't know. I have a hard time not finishing this set, and then since I started on a stream, I kind of want to finish it on stream. So switching in between just doesn't feel right. But anyone watching this, if you happen to be in the Cincinnati area, let me know. Is there any cool Lego shops in Cincinnati? Because I will be heading out that way, and it would be fun to check out some independent Lego stores that are not the ones that shall not be named. My understanding is there's like a King Arthur's Court, just like I guess like a Toys R Us-esque type of store. So if my evenings permit from work, I am going to try to check it out. And see what it's all about. It seems like it has Lego and like a whole bunch of other stuff. As many pieces as this set has, I feel like it really goes pretty quick. And then I'm hoping there's something right there that connects those pieces, because whew. 51 minutes until back to Hogwarts. At least for for Lego purposes. It's 51 minutes. Well, it's like an hour and 51 minutes and then like a day for everyone else. The non-Lego peeps. I guess I never understood why Lego does it early, but I guess I could see from a marketing standpoint, they want to make sure to get those first cut at those back to Hogwarts dollars that people are going to be spending. I've been working on a video talking about Lego's like marketing strategy, pricing strategies, because they do quite a bit of marketing and pricing strategies. But I guess that only makes sense since they are a multi-billion-dollar company. But I'll give you kind of like a highlight of what I was going to be talking about. One of the things that I was going to talk about is it still bothers me. I know Lego is not alone in using charm pricing, but it bothers me that Lego uses charm pricing. And if you're not sure what that is, I'll be happy to tell you. So you know how they end their prices in 99 cents? The biggest culprit is the new Executor Superstar Destroyer at $7.99. Charm pricing means that essentially they are tricking your mind to perceive that as a $700 set, even though it's obviously substantially closer to $800. It's a penny away from being $800. But most people's minds, when they look at that price, at least initially, the feeling and the impression that it gives is that, oh, this is a $700 set. So it doesn't hit as hard as it being an $800 set, even though, like I said, it's essentially an $800 set. So most companies do charm pricing, but there are companies that don't, like IKEA. So it is something that I wish Lego would get away from. And you'll notice in like all of my videos, I refuse to give in to the charm pricing. So I will round the prices up. So just go back and check my videos. I can't stomach, and plus it just seems tedious to constantly say, and 99 cents, and 99 cents, when it's just cleaner and rolls off the tongue better when it's a whole dollar. But that $800 will hit you a lot harder than $799.99. But it's not all bad, because there are some pricing and marketing strategies that I do like, that being the gift with purchase. Except when you find yourself in a scenario where you want a set, but you don't love the price point, and now you find yourself hungry and waiting for a gift with purchase. I feel like it's pretty solid, but I still see a bit of light through there. I'm hoping that will go away with when this gets built. Riker. And then I've been waiting for these pieces. I don't know why, but I would love to have an extra set of these pieces, but I'm not going to be buying another copy of this set. The wife would be none too pleased for me to buy a set that expensive just to get some additional pieces. Maybe since they're not actually licensed, these pieces, they'll eventually come to the PinkBrix, because it would be nice to be able to build and mock some of the other Star Trek sets with these pieces. So Commander William Riker, I was going to put T in there, plays the jazz trombone as a hobby. The instrument can be placed on its stand when not in use. This is the first Lego set to feature this instrument. I swear I felt like there was a trombone in some other set, like the modular. Maybe I'm mistaken, but I guess maybe it was built different. I could swear that had a trombone. I'll have to go fact check that. As fancy as these little trays are, the problem is some of these things get stuck in the corner. Which reminds me, I need to follow up on an email. Had my eye on potentially a replacement tray that would fix this issue where you get a piece stuck. I don't know why they have the actual stud showing up. Could you imagine how amazing this would have been if they didn't use two different types of gold? This would have looked amazing. All right, the flick fire missile is gone missing. Oh, because it's right there at the edge. I mean, it does look good, but if it was all that metallic gold, would have been even better. And then if it would have been the chrome gold, whew, that would have been fantastic. All right, let's see where he goes on the display. It is kind of cool that they tell you exactly where to put it on the display. But of course you can mix it up. All right, so 3 of them. Just making sure my chat is not stuck. That does look cool. I wonder how many iterations they had to do before they just got that figured out, and then to realize that they'd print it on the other side so that the print could kind of bleed through. I would love one day to see inside Lego Billund and see how it operates. I think that would be incredibly awesome. All right. It must be a long week. Like rarely, if ever, struggle finding pieces. Normally, it's my wife that's struggling to find pieces, and I'm sitting over here and just pointing it out from way over here. but she is working tonight, so she will not be on. Maybe she'll pop in the chat on a break or what have we, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do and work a night shift, or in her case, all night shifts. I'm curious, has anyone found the bridge set early and started building that? I'd be curious to get an opinion from a non-Lego, recognized Lego fan collab person. It was so much easier to say a LAN member. I'm going to miss it for that one purpose, that it was easier to identify them. Because I don't even really know what to call them anymore. Less than 40 minutes until back to Hogwarts. And we'll check out and see what all is going on, what offers when it goes live, because I'm curious. I'm not the Harry Potter fan in the family. My wife is. But if you watch my video, you'll know why I'm really curious to check that out and see what deals are to be had. Hold up. Got ahead of myself. Skipped a step. All right. Oh, that's kind of cool, the way it connects. That is nice and satisfying. The way it clicks in. Yeah, I would love to have more of those pieces. Can you imagine? Oh, man. I have not seen enough mocks of Star Trek sets. I mean, of course, you see like 1.5 million Star Wars, but not much in terms of Star Trek. But now I'm curious what the next set's going to be. My fingers are crossed that it's either Voyager, but more realistically, I'd love the Defiant. And then Lego. I'm going to put this out in the world, so hopefully they'll hear. I said it last time. When Lego releases the Defiant, I expect to see DS9 on the box in all of its glory. And the wormhole, yes. We can return to amazing box art. We can make that great again. Lego box art. What in the world? Yeah, that is some complicated geometry and building technique. I mean, it's like studs not on top, not on top. Okay. That is like almost seamless. I love how that looks. So I know we're going to be doing the reverse. Oh, I already turned the page. Whoops. But it should be easier now that I've done it once. All right. This way, that way, forward. I mean, don't squeeze it too hard because then it moves. But otherwise, without it, yeah, that is swooshable, at least for now, with complete saucer separation and the nacelles missing. Very swooshable. But man, that makes me smile so much. That is beautiful. I'm going to tip that up so y'all can enjoy that. Ooh, that is one stud. Don't touch those pieces. All right, so we are connecting it. That translucent orange, though, gives it a good effect. All right, so 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. After using those beautiful translucent orange pieces, you just cover them up. I feel like I should know what that's a reference to an Easter egg, but it is not coming to mind. I know it can't be the warp core. I know I haven't attached this one and I'm building the other one, but I realize they're symmetrical, so sometimes it's so satisfying to build both and then place them together. Like that. Well, that's cool. A little reference to our little octane dude over there. It's kind of like the U.S.S AT-AT. I love how they kind of circle back to octane, but still do shell. And then it just gets hidden away and no one would know unless you pull it out. But I was kind of concerned, like, why would they make it so it was like loose on its own? But then that's so you can pull out the little Easter egg. Pretty cool. Well, I guess I spoke too soon because now we're starting to secure it down. Albeit not very securely. "29 minutes. 29 minutes. This is not a drill." I have to remind myself, if I purchase something, I could still return it. If after talking to my wife and she's like, no, we don't need that. But she doesn't have to worry. I will not be getting the $400 Harry Potter set. Unless it was like 50% off for some insane reason, insane glitch. Somebody at work just emailed me at 10:30. Rock on. That's lovely. Hopefully it's just my flight. Well, hot dog. There's enough left over for a whole nother octane. And almost an entire instrument. I'll have to keep that up for the marching band. And the rest of these will go in there. Which I think is kind of neat that these are like the perfect diameter for these target trays. I find it funny that I saw a lot of people complaining that these were, I mean, $10 on Lego, but $8 at Target. And they're like, for a piece of plastic? I'm like, you realize what hobby we're in, right? So I mean that all in good humor. Because we're spending like crazy amounts of money on plastic. So $8 for a cool container to store all your extra bits. I don't know why, but I was not expecting the stand to be that early. generally I don't try to engage too much on rumors because we're not a rumor channel. Maybe one day I'd start a separate rumor channel, but since the rumor is pretty widespread that once the Millennium Falcon retires, we're getting another Millennium Falcon, which is kind of cool because then it'd be one every 10 years. I think that's pretty amazing. But what's interesting is there's talk that that set's going to have a stand. And I think this set is kind of laying the groundwork for theoretically what we could look for in terms of a stand for the U.S. Millennium Falcon. So maybe I'll have to do a video on that to manage expectations, because that is one of the bad parts about rumors is people then, and sometimes I'm even guilty of this, you imagine something in your mind and then that's what you expect to come out, and when it's not one-to-one what you've been dreaming about, regardless of how great it looks, how great it functions, you're disappointed, which kind of takes some of the joy out of Lego. Because I grew up in the day and age when you had to wait for the catalog to come in the mail and then see what was new. And then, boy, howdy, those catalogs, man, I would wear them out, looking at them over and over, reading them. They aren't quite the same anymore. I wish that they would send them out more often, but I realize it's an expense. But if they just figure out which families are spending a chunk of money on Lego, then just send the magazines to those families. Or just charge for it and then include a poly bag. There's a thought. I am slightly troubled by it being asymmetrical. Well, good evening. Hello, hello. Yeah, that's bothering me, but I've checked and triple checked. It is supposed to be asymmetrical. So 22 minutes. 22 minutes. It's not a drill until back to Hogwarts. Let's see if I can find a way to get that GWP on the cheap. Because October is just around the corner. Okay, I am going mad here. Double check the bag. It says I should have these long Technic pieces, to which I do not. But then I see the outside a bag. So it might be in this here box. So this is about to get messy. Ah, look at me. Past Andrew was thinking of future Andrew and put these on top. What an awesome dude. 2, 4, 6. Who do we appreciate? So for anyone that's interested, if you haven't been following all the news, apparently Brian Mansell has actually been paid this time because they filed a joint motion in that case to dismiss him and file a permanent injunction. So, and if y'all want to know more, I'd be happy to cover that since that is public record now. But the long and short of it is Brian Mansell can still talk, but yes, he did get paid. He just can't do stuff that he never should have done, and I don't think ever did anyways, like death threats, bomb threats, silly stuff, criminal stuff to begin with. All right. Kind of feel like I'm building like a Star Wars ship here. Wait a tick. Two, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Okay, why is that off? That is weird. I think I made a Technic error. Yikes. On stream, no less. It's the end of the world. No, not really. It's happened to the best of us. And if you say it hasn't, you're lying. Instead of a gap of 2 studs, there should have been a gap of 4 studs. That, ladies and gents, looks better. Now I got to do surgery on this hot mess. And I wasn't even like distracted with chatting. Guess I was just distracted talking about the reckless Ben stuff. All right. That is much better. There we go. It's feeling nice and solid. All right. 14 minutes. This is not a drill, guys. This is not a drill. Should I have been checking to see if this was ×2? Although, no, we don't have enough of those. Okay. But I still feel like I'm going to be building the mirror of this with the next bag. Those are some incredibly long pieces. You can put the Office Space jokes in there yourself, guys. Okay. Make sure to get all the pins before we put this in. This is one series of steps that I want to make sure I'm actually paying attention so I don't have another goof like that. Because that was, I don't know, less than ideal. Technic is very unforgiving if you skip a step. All right. 12 minutes. Boys and girls, 12 minutes, 11 minutes. Updating in real time. Well, I hope it is. I upgraded our internet speed, so it should be lightning fast and should not buffer. Knock on wood. All right. There you go. Four. Getting the pins ready. Oh, well, was sticking to the page there made me think of that one YouTuber that put out a a short about using glue. Man, oh day, I had to watch that thing like 4 or 5 times. I could not stop laughing. It was such a good short. The gist of it was he was talking about playing a prank on people, that he was using glue on his big sets. And then he's like, if you make a mistake or something, you just rip a page out of the instructions, wipe it off. And that step just made me laugh so much. I definitely think that is one thing that there is a shortage of in the Lego community, is some good humor. So every chance I get to, I try to do a funny short. I love shorts. I know the conventional wisdom is I should stop doing shorts and stop investing time in shorts, yada, yada, yada. Because it's not the best as far as like generating money or making a successful, thriving YouTube channel. But I love making shorts. They are so much fun. So I do not intend to stop making shorts. I will focus more, or be more intentional about long form, because I understand that I do enjoy both, and I will sit down and watch both, and then I listen to long form while driving. So I'll be more intentional about the long form, but I'm not giving up my shorts. Ooh, just feels so risky locking this one in. It's locked in. It's locked and loaded. All right, 8 minutes. 8 minutos. For those that are here, thank you. Y'all are amazing. Because I know there's probably, I could name them, at least 2 channels that are live covering how to spend your money. But I don't blame you if you go there, because if I wasn't streaming, I'd probably be joining in. Although I've learned not to say a word. Still boggles my mind that there are some streamers that it's like, especially ones that have like well-established audience and subscriber base, that they almost seemingly get offended when another YouTuber comes in and like says anything, even if it's just like, hi. But I guess if that's your sole source of income, then maybe that's why. Ah, there's a minute delay. No! I thought I got rid of the buffering. Looks like ChatGPT and I are gonna have some further discussions. Maybe have to ratchet up to Perplexity, Copilot, and have them compete with one another to figure out who can best address the delay. I knew this step was coming, and it still hits hard. I love when there are symmetrical pieces to be building them contemporaneously. Apologize to my wife for drinking on stream. Okay, at least by your clock. Okay. About a minute off. Well, hopefully ChatGPT and his AI friends will have some solutions to offer. Which, by the way, I'm interested in any viewers that have experience with AI. What is your favorite? We had AI at work for all of like a matter of weeks. And then it disappeared. It was so sad. I feel like AI for emails should be mandatory, like a mandatory review by AI, because it is so much better. The built-in spell and grammar check of Outlook. I mean, that thing is like so archaic. The spell and grammar check inside Outlook, I think, is from like Windows 95. Whereas if you do Alt-I with Copilot, it can give you all sorts of wonderful feedback. If your organization allows such magic and wizardry. Because, heaven forbid you want your email to be the best it can be. All right. It is just around the corner. Gonna make sure my app is ready to go and it's refreshing. I'm curious if this will work, if the app will work better than the actual Lego website, because we know how that could be. $2.5% for Rakuten? Man, I thought the standard was 5. But apparently not today. I'm so confused by the Star Trek Enterprise bridge. On some parts of the website, it says it will ship starting September 1 or the 1st of September, but then other parts it says the 8th of September. I'm like, am I the only one that sees that craziness? That is so weird. In fact, I am going to take a screenshot of that. Because that is seemingly an error. Because the both cannot exist simultaneously. All right, it is live. And it just crashed. I should have been anticipating that. All right. Yeah, the 3 gifts with purchase. Only 1 really matters. 1 you can get at Walmart and Target. The 1 if you like metal things. But then the Ministry Munchies and Daily Profit stands. That's where it's at in my book. Yeah, that's $4.50, yada, yada, yada. All right, here we go. It took several clicks. All right, so we got some sales. That's cool. Let me refresh. Percentage off insiders prices. Okay, but it's not showing. One of the 3 sets that I'm looking at is there. It will not update. Oh, hot dog. Hot dog, hot dog, hot diggity dog. Oh, my wife would love that set. She has said that she loves that set, but it's not telling me how much it is off. Okay, why does it say it's a percentage off and then it doesn't show? Typical glitch fashion. Oh, that book nook is amazing. Sorry, I'm not building, but it's a Lego channel. Hello, hello. Welcome in. It is back to Hogwarts Day, so we are checking out real time on the Lego website the deals, and then we'll get back to building here, the Enterprise. But we're also taking a momentary pause to take a look. So it looks like the Hogwarts Castle, the architecture like scale, the Hogwarts Castle and Grounds is $25 off. The Burrow, the collector's edition, which my wife has been saying looks fantastic since it came out. It says it's a amount off, a percentage off, but it's not updating. Hello. I'll put that in chat because I think there is a delay since I'm over here. There we go. Okay. Okay, maybe that the Burrow Collector's Edition is not a percent off. It is 4x points. Okay. So Diagon Alley is $30 off. The Hogwarts Castle and Grounds is $25 off. And even though the Burrow Collector's Edition is under the percentage off, instead of a percentage off, it's 4x points. That's some borderline false advertisement, but we'll give you a pass because that's how things go on these crazy release days. I don't appreciate it being under the wrong category, but it's not that big of a deal. All right, I've been buying far too much Lego for myself. I think it's time to get something from the wife. Wow, that is pretty decent discount. It's gonna want my fingerprint. But yeah, it looks like the deals are pretty good. I'd like to see more like this for other days. But I do like the percentage off more than the extra points off. I understand why Lego does it like that, but okay, apparently there is some sort of issue trying to check out. I think that should do it. Woo woo! Ministry munchies and daily profit stands secured. As some people would say, I swiped the card. But anyways, secured. And not a penny extra. Thank you, Insider's Points. All right, back to building. But yeah, if you are a fan of Harry Potter, check out the deals. I would send you an affiliate link or post affiliate link, but Lego says no, not today. I mean, granted, we are a super small channel, so I don't overly blame them, but sometimes I feel like they're handing out the affiliates to like candy to like everybody and their brother. But like for me, they're like, yeah, no. Okay. So it'd be interesting to see how crazy the store is tomorrow. Hopefully I can make it in. I may or may not, but the goal is to try to make it in, even if it is for just but a brief moment. Because my friends at here in DFW, the Lego stores are very friendly as far as letting you film and take pictures in the Lego store. Not all Lego stores are as kind. But hopefully the wife will be pleased. Didn't spend much, thank you, insider's points. But the wife needs something to build. For our live streams, and not just some random set that I picked out and told her to build. Which is not really what happens, but she trusts me to pick out something fun for her. So I was a bit skeptical. Ugh, I'm tired. About how polished this stand was going to look, but pretty nice, pretty nice. Gives me hope for the stand for the new U.S.S. Millennium Falcon. Oh yeah. Now we're cooking. Now we're in business. I guess it would help if I attached. There we go. Although I still feel like now that I look at this, with just a scotch more engineering and pieces, they could have done the communicator badge or emblem down for the stand. That would have been awesome. Especially if it was like the gold lacquer. All right, Jordy is next. So once Geordie LaForge became the Enterprise's chief engineer, he always kept his Starfleet engineering case handy. I don't know, maybe this is going to date me, but I every time I see Star Trek and see Geordie, I also think of the Reading Rainbow. I still can't believe during that time he was doing Reading Rainbow and Star Trek. That's just quite the combination. But he can go anywhere and he can do anything. Because Geordie is just amazing. Except apparently his hair just went and disappeared. Or maybe it's in this other little bag. Of course, Andrew, it was. They've got even the little eyebrows. I don't know how I missed that in like the images. I'd have to say his was probably the hardest in terms of accessories. As far as to not make it look overlooked, but fantastic minifig. Does that, I don't know if that shows, but. And Geordie is like way off on an island. I wish they would do these stands for more sets like this, where there's not really an interior to put them. Like they had the Jabba sail barge, and then like this, and so they very rarely do it. But I do like the stands. Maybe I'll just move this up so it's more visible. Now I've got the Reading Rainbow song stuck in my head. Oh no. Oh no. But it's not going to be enough to distract me from realizing that what I am venturing into right meow is a ×2. So I need to be making everything in duplicate. The nacelles. They're naysayers. The beginning. Boys and girls, I think it's, I mean, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but I think it's conceivable of finishing this tonight. It does really help when you can build them simultaneously. I've been trying to encourage my wife to do the same. Especially when it's like this obvious that you're building the same thing twice. Gonna have like a Henry Ford assembly line. Watch, as many times I say like nacelles, somebody's gonna be like, you pronounce that wrong each and every time. Just making sure I'm at the bottom of the chat and I didn't get stuck somehow up. Thought of moving this whole setup to that sidewall because that sidewall is much longer. Although I'd have to take down some sconces. But then on that wall, it's kind of already set up and I could put a TV on that one. And this is also set up. I could put a TV or I could put a TV over here and then have essentially a teleprompter with chat, which would make it much easier to communicate with you guys rather than using a tiny little screen. Oh no. Ladies and gents, we got stickers. No. No. All right. Gotta grab a brick separator. Okay. Sticker 6. Pardon me while I shed a tear. Let's see how good of a sticker this is. It's actually fairly good. In terms of gray stickers, it's not bad. I have seen much worse. So, did anyone grab anything for Back to Hogwarts? Other than me and my wife. Well, I got something for her to get the GWP. The good old gift with purchase. I really feel like, though, that the Minister, I'm just going to call it the Minister of Magic. I should be putting this on this one. GWP was probably originally designed to be exclusive or attached to the Ministry of Magic. That's at least my guess. And then somebody said, like, no, fans are going to lose their mind because of the whole issue with the Death Star, whereas it was like essentially like a limited time DLC for it. So it's like if you didn't buy it like the first week, it's like, well, then you had this premium set that you bought and you didn't have the full set, which is very off-putting. So I'm glad that they lowered the threshold and didn't require you to buy the $450 set to get that beautiful gift with purchase. I know it's kind of confusing to some, but I appreciate that they did that, and then they gave a metal trinket with the Ministry of Magic set, because quite frankly, that's just not enticing. So it reduces some of the FOMO, and then I think it also benefits Lego in terms of being able to sell that expensive set after that gift with purchase is gone. Because otherwise, if it was tied to that set, people are going to look at it and be like, oh, well, now it's incomplete. Why would I buy it full price? But when the exclusive gift with purchase is a metal trinket, it still appeases the Harry Potter completionists that want something exclusive. But then, like the average Lego fan that's not going to buy it day one, or little Johnny, little Susie that's can't get it until Christmas, they're not missing out on part of the Lego set. So that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. That I appreciate how Lego handled it. Other than I really feel like they could have shaved off a little of that $450 or done a few tweaks here and there to make it truly an ultimate collector or collector's edition. Because I find it interesting how, like, seemingly they removed the wand battle from some of the pictures because it just looked that bad. Especially when they I don't know, once upon a time had a specific element designed for that, and then is seemingly gone, which is a shame. It must have been like a very expensive element to produce, or just seemingly had no other uses, so they didn't want to keep it around. I guess that would be my guess. And I guess I always thought it could have been used for like explosions and things of that nature. Few minutes, I might check the website again to see if any of those deals have disappeared. The long and short is, if you are in the market for Harry Potter, now is the time. There is no time like the present. Super long stickers. Bear with me while I hold my breath. It was about as good as it's gonna get. Not too bad. Still less than ideal. I have to think with, as the price of like the home printing options become more and more available, will Lego try to do more or less stickers? Because the thought process, if it's cheaper for like the average consumer to do printed pieces, you would think it would likewise be cheaper for Lego. But I guess one of the costs that a lot of people don't realize is the logistics part and the storage of that many unique elements. Complicates things, because if you have a lot of printed ones, then you're gonna have a bin for each of those printed ones, etc., etc. So it's not just the printing of them, but it's also the storing them, sorting them for sets. But I could see that going both ways, as it becomes more economical for the average user to print, Lego could say, oh, well, then, you know, there's a secondary market selling printed tiles that essentially have the stickers, and we're just going to let that take over, and we can do more stickers because there's that alternative. Or they could be like, no, we don't want that. And especially since technically, I think their strongest argument for keeping their copyright on their sets are their stickers. I sometimes theorize that why they like to put stickers in a set is to maintain their position that they have a copyright over the design. So that's just some random thoughts that were kicking around in my noggin. But I would personally like them to do more rather than less printed elements. Especially like on the premium sets. Because if you haven't had problems with a sticker or stickers peeling off, then chances are you either live in a museum or it is like perfect temperature, humidity, everything controlled, or you just haven't been a Lego fan long enough. Because you can have like the most ideal conditions and stuff will happen to your Lego and your Lego stickers. Just like popped off. It's just popping around here, popping off. Nacelles are trying to do a desk pop over here. Interesting. Did I just skip that? Yep, I did. Oof. The more I look at it, the harder it is on the eyes, those stickers. What's funny is it's like, no, they make no bones about it in the instructions. They say, hey, your stickers are not going to match. They are going to look terrible. Ooh. I like the translucent blue. There's lots of them. Building the core of the nacelles. there is a lot of people on tonight that are interested in Lego. I guess I missed the opportunity. I should have been building a Harry Potter set. Maybe one of our the vintage ones that are sealed, still in box. But this set was speaking to me, so I wanted to build it. Not gonna lie, this is like this step right here is what I feel like building the Eiffel Tower must have felt like. Like, hey, am I in an infinite loop? Am I living in Groundhog Day right here all of a sudden? And if you are young enough that you do not know what I'm referring to, go Google, ChatGPT it, whatever. Groundhog Day. And then come back and comment. But yeah, I always looked at that Eiffel Tower and I was like, whew. And that's like a job. I mean, granted, it would be like very rewarding when you had finished it and be like, wow, look what I did. But then also be like, wow, look what I did. Now where would I put this thing? And my wife probably would have joked like, hey, look, it's about as tall as you. Guess that one goes on the bottom. Yeah, the step is like very repetitive. What's going through my head right now is like, don't we have like a piece for this? Is there like a mold for this? Could it have been done with Technic? Is this like part inflation here? Like let's find a way to hide a whole bunch of 1x1 bricks. Because this feels like, woo. Getting off from building like both simultaneously. Because there's just so many 1x1s. Where are you hiding? There you are. Okay. Feel like we're getting close. I can feel it in my bones. See the red. Oddly enough, this makes me want to build the the Maersk. I feel like I missed the boat, pun intended, on that set, because I feel like it wasn't selling well. Lego did the 3X or 4X Insider's Points, and then they're like, nope, never again. We're going to let this slowly die off, this set. Which would be a shame. Normally I would run this like along a table or something to make sure it was kind of all lined up, but with the little stud sticking out, you really can't effectively do that. All right, finally something to help with the alignment, because boy howdy does it need it. Oh, because something like that is going to happen. It's literally going to pop off. Okay. You know what would be fantastic sponsor for a Lego channel? A musician. Okay, get Pharrell Williams to sponsor my channel, be able to play some of his music. That would be awesome. Could you imagine that live stream? I could. Still waiting for my Snoop Dogg minifigure. I mean, we got Olivia Rodrigo. I need a Snoop Dogg Martha Stewart set. Even though knowing Lego, they'd probably make it as like a GWP for like $1,000 set. Be like, well, plasma bank, here I come. That is none of the bueno. Sure is user error, so I'll have to look in a bag, but I am missing a piece. And there's so few pieces in this here tray that I'm not just overlooking it. And that would be user error. It's like that short of like, you've lost a piece? Have you checked the bag? And they're like, I lost a piece. Well, have you checked the bag? No, I lost a piece. No, have you checked the bag? No, I lost the piece. Please send me a replacement. Oh, I check the bag and it's there. I swear. I wonder if, like, with the switch over to the paper bags, if Lego's seen an uptick in people calling in or using the online system to report that they have missing pieces. I'm super stoked. One of the nicest things that's going to be about the manufacturing plant in the United States is if you are in fact missing a piece, if it would be much, much quicker for you to get said missing piece rather than have to wait for airmail from Bill in Denmark. Because there's nothing sadder than like having a beautiful set and it's like, well, you can't finish it because you're missing a piece. The most recent set I had that happen on was the jersey, the FIFA jersey for the U.S. It was missing like one of those red pieces. And what was weird is it like had like another random piece. But I guess that makes sense because something's kind of weighed for quality control. The sensor probably is like, oh, yep, it's all good to go. It's within the acceptable parameters, but then somehow a piece skipped somewhere in the manufacturing process and landed in my bag, and the system thought, nope, everything's good to go, but it was not. I didn't think, since these were all the trans blue clear, that I was going to have to go back and line up the branding. Because I know it's a silly thing, and I know people are probably like, why in the world? But it would haunt me. Because it's not like some of the other pieces where you just literally can't see it. This is something that you can see. So all the Lego printing, if you look in there, is along the top. I know it's silly, but humor me. What in the world? I swear I just flipped that one over. Okay, this one is upside down. Okay. Better. Okay. Well, if that isn't tricky, I don't know what is. When it feels like it's under tension. That one definitely is under tension because it just popped off. Well, I mean, it is solid now. Much easier way to do it. Just do it on the hard surface to begin with. Make sure all of those firmly seated. All right. No, no, no. How did I miss that? Man, I am getting tired. We got one of the internal supports. As you can see right here. And that is on both, unfortunately. Just feel like they could have done this with Technic and Technic pins. I guess that surgery wasn't that bad, but now I got to do it again, and I'm not looking forward to it. Because this bottom is very fragile. All right. All right. And now we build the underside. Hold it up, make sure there are no extra pieces. already know that I am building it twice over again. Mm. Interesting, like this side is a dark bluish gray and base, and that one is like a tan, but then it had a dark bluish gray 3x3. This one has a tan one. Guess it keeps it pretty apparent what side is what of the nacelles. Do 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 do. The Lego pieces are trying to hide from me. Miss having my wife as part of the stream. All the lively chat. And then on top of that, she seems like a good luck charm as far as like just keeping the conversation going and interesting. Sticking to the instruction manual. Time is now 12 o'clock. Thank you, clock. 00. Well, happy Saturday for you Central Time fans. I guess I should check, because I'd been meaning to check if any of those deals disappeared. They did not. Looks like my wife has her lunch break at 1, so I will definitely be finishing no later than that. Even if that means having to do like another stream, pop-up stream to finish this beast. So I got distracted. But yeah, so even if I have to finish it some other time, that will have to happen. Plus I do need to get some sleep. Plus, you know, there's this thing called the Lego store that might be open tomorrow. That might be super kind of cool. Just maybe. Have a lot of crazy Harry Potter fans in there. Like my wife. So don't feel offended. And I do enjoy some Harry Potter. Just, I'm not obviously as big of a Harry Potter fan as like some people, including my wife. I haven't read all of the books. In fact, I haven't read any of the books other than like the like illustrated type ones, or those like ones that they sold at like Costco. Those things are super cool. Which was sad because I felt like they had like the first 4 and then they like stopped. It's like sacrilegious. It's like, how can you start a series of those books and then stop it? Or I guess I should have checked, because maybe they just stopped coming to Costco. This little Lego piece has wings. Must be drinking some Red Bull. I still find it funny that like the Speed Champions is like, oh, the Red Bull set? Yeah, that one's 18 plus. Makes me wonder if in some countries, if you have to be 18 years old to buy Red Bull. I'm gonna have to look that up. I like the variation of the parts. The part usage is pretty nice in here. I do like all the translucent pieces. I was always a fan of the translucent pieces as a kid. Especially the neon ones. It's like, yes, please. I really wish they would bring those back. It really feels like I'm building a bomb. And I venture to guess that when I put this together, it's going to feel even more so like that until then I get like it on the Enterprise. One extra cheese slope. All right. Oh, that is satisfying. I remember like early on in some of the promotional materials, like they had the things backwards. I thought that was kind of funny. The nacelles. More Octane references. What is scary and exciting, I guess, is that by my count, once I'm finished with this bag, I'll be only halfway through the set. That's mind-boggling. I guess that's similar to like the Lambda class shuttle. It's like the wings were like half the set. But in a good way. I do like all the Octane Easter eggs. Growing up, I always called it Octane. In my collection, like my old school town collection, I have like the Octane gas station, and then I have like the shell, the like really old shell. That's probably the set that is the worst for wear in my collection, because that one is stickers, the ropes on the fuel pumps. It's a sad state of affairs. I would love at some point in time to replace that set. Not necessarily with like a new box, but just like a clean version. That wasn't in some kid's hands growing up for many moons, taking it apart and rebuilding it, because I can't count how many times I've rebuilt that shell gas station. This is the first time these rounded Lego elements appear in transparent, I always call it translucent, but transparent red as part of the warp engine's glowing red, and I'm not going to try to pronounce it, well, I guess the Bassard collectors. Probably butchered that. As much as I've watched Star Trek, I never remember them saying that and pronouncing it. I'm sure they did. But that is a gorgeous element. We could use more of those. I mean, I feel like you could use them in some form or fashion with like a modular. That looks clean. Yeah. No. Stickers on a curved thin piece. No. It's like worst nightmare. And they're stacked too. And the ability to get this centered is like next to impossible. Guess the trick is just hold your breath. I really feel like they could have printed this piece and used it in something else. Not a fan of this sticker. Nope, I managed to not butcher those stickers, so that's good. Okay. Well, it fits nice and snug in there. A nice little tight fit in there. Oh, right there. Trying to get all that nice and tight together. It's kind of tricky because those go on one stud, but they kind of are free floating on there because it's the ingot piece. No, not stickers on this as well. A little square shield. The sheer amount of stickers, including the Starfleet logo, leads me to believe that they're not anticipating doing too many Star Trek sets, which is a shame. So if they were going to do like a lot of like play sets and whatnot, then they could have probably printed that. I really feel like this is going to be another Lord of the Rings type theme. So it's all going to come under icons and, you know, get like one-ish a year. Okay. And that is instruction book 1. I love how it says property of U.S.S. Enterprise NCC 1701 D Delta. So with the complete saucer separation, this is what the bad boy looks like. Don't know how to get this to stay tight. I guess it's just the way those pieces join. It's not that bad. There's not daylight coming through. But wow. I both thought it would feel bigger and smaller at the same time. It's kind of hard to describe. It feels good. It's got a good weight, but still something that you could fly around and trust and believe I'm going to fly it around. Just got to be careful with the kids because it's a bit of an expensive and beautiful set. It's weird, like the pivot point is like on the back of the stand for now with the saucer separated. You can see like it's pivoting down here instead of in the center. But it looks so good. Can you imagine like having like the like a constellation, a defiant, like all the different classes I'd love like the Constellation, the Defiant, and the Intrepid Voyager. Man, I need to go back and watch some Star Trek. But then as far as kid sets, the Lower Decks would be awesome. And then if they even went so far as to do what they're doing with One Piece, and that is make like a Lego version of it. Could you imagine if they did a Lego version of the Lower Decks? That would be awesome. So I'll have to add that to my receipt, my surveys. I'm going to take a look at the next instruction manual and see what this looks like. Whoa. You know that's a doozy when that's the start of the bag. Huh. So you start putting it on this before it's finished. I guess that makes sense because otherwise it'd be hard to like flip it over and do the belly of the saucer. This is such an amazing set. I love the minifigures. Makes me wonder though when we're gonna get a Borg ship. I truly think they could expand this to a full-fledged theme. They could do battle packs and put Star Wars to shame in terms of like value and the battle packs. Because you could do like, instead of battle packs, you could do like away missions for Starfleet, but then you could have like battle packs for like the Gorn or Breen and all of those. But like some cool away mission little packs of figures would be awesome. All right, well, I think with that though, I am going to call it a night, and then I will likely do another stream shortly, like not today, but maybe tomorrow, to round it out and finish it. Because, wow, it looks great, and I want it to be done because you gotta finish this set before you get the bridge. So, anyways, check out, if you haven't already, the other video that I just posted about kind of our thoughts, our shopping list, give you insight of what we're picking up. I did kind of deviate a little bit because it wasn't confirmed that they were doing the discounts, the back to Hogwarts discounts. I was kind of secretly hoping, and I did get a set that is, it sounds terrible, but more expensive than you can get at Target, but then I got the gift with purchase, and then it helps having insiders points that, don't have at Target. So, but shop around. If you don't like the gifts with purchase, you don't need that Minister of Magic, then like the Hogwarts grounds, like that kind of a smaller scale Hogwarts, you can get fairly inexpensively at Target right now. It's like $130. So, and sometimes you can get even cheaper. And then if you got the red card, it's even cheaper. So, but right now that will get you basically just above getting the Minister of Magic GWP. So, something to bear in mind. Anyways, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.